So this right in front of me is my G37's front bumper, and I'm gonna be installing a front lip on it. The reason I'm doing that is because this bumper looks really ugly. It looks really plain, and I want it to look a little bit beefier. So that's why I'm gonna be installing a front lip, but there's a small little problem. In order for me to install this to that, I have to trim the front bumper. So the bumper should look something like this when it's all attached together, but you can see I have to attach it somehow, because I can't just cut away and put this here. This is gonna flop in the wind and it's not gonna work. But I think I have a solution. I purchased some of this carbon fiber right here, and I'm gonna make little braces and I'm gonna attach them in the back of this, so when I have everything attached, it stays put and it doesn't crack. So let's get started. I've never done this before. Who knows what the heck's gonna happen? All right, so we made the first cut, and I think this is gonna be the first of many cuts. All right, so we have a little visitor. Giovanni's over here. What do you think of the bumper so far?
Dude, it looks sick.
So right now, I'm gonna use this little tool right here. So I'm gonna make a stencil, and I'm gonna draw this on that side, and flip it to this side. All right, so I just cut the first corner right here. I have to say, look how sexy this looks. All right, so this is what we have so far. This is the lower part of the bumper of the original OEM bumper, and that's the bottom piece. I have trimmed it. So I decided to flip it upside down, and let me show you what I'm gonna use it for. There's this really ugly gap, and I have to connect this somehow. I have to make that closer. And if you get this piece right here from the bottom bumper, and you flip it upside down, this matches perfectly. Okay, so I have trimmed the piece quite a bit, and you can see how I'm starting to kind of like mold it into the shape right here. And this is what it looks like without it, and this is what it looks like when I put it back. So I still have a lot of shaping to do. I'm gonna trim this piece a little bit further, and I'm gonna start to attach it to this front bumper somehow. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, now's a good time, because where else do you find very crazy, unique stuff like this? This is pretty crazy. I'm taking two pieces right here, one aftermarket, one OEM, cutting it up, chopping it up, and making it work and look like this. It's gonna look pretty sick. So subscribe, guys, follow me, and let's get back to that video. Okay, so this is what I have done, and I have just made a mess. There's a mess everywhere. I've been trying to record and capture everything for you guys. I have two cameras set up, and plus I'm recording and blogging with this one, but there's a complete mess. So I completely molded and shaped these pieces from the original bumper. And you can see that's the original color, and let me show you exactly how they fit. So you can see I left these little notches right here, and I created a cavity. That cavity and those notches lock in together like that. And let me set it in there so you can see what it looks like. So that's basically how it's going to fit. It's gonna sit right in there. Of course, I have to fiberglass the back, reinforce it, but this is pretty much how it's gonna look. So it brought together that space. There was a big gap right here. I fixed that gap, And since I created this side first, I just duplicated it and I created the same piece for the other side. So here's the other piece. Now I have to make a cavity here and then insert it to this side. Okay, so now I am going to reinforce all of these spots right here. There's basically nothing here holding this part from flopping in the wind and cracking when I fiberglass everything. So I'm gonna put a piece right here to reinforce all of this so it doesn't shake and wobble. And I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do that. So I purchased this piece of carbon fiber and I am just gonna make some little squares. They're gonna be cut out in my CNC router, and hopefully I am able to fuse everything together with this and make it nice and sturdy. Okay, so I have everything set up and secured. Now I'm gonna just turn on the router. So I was able to cut one piece out and then the bit broke. I think the feed rate is too high. So I'm gonna slow it down a little bit and then we'll try again. Okay, so this is how this is gonna work in theory. Okay, in theory, we'll see. I'm gonna go behind the bumper now and I'm gonna notch out the piece of plastic and I should be able to slide it in between the back of this and this one. And then I'm gonna glue these in place, reinforcing both of these pieces together and reinforcing this to kind of unify the whole thing. So this bumper basically doesn't crack and it becomes one solid piece. So keep in mind, if you guys are gonna do this, you're gonna cut carbon fiber out. Wear a respirator, wear some type of mask. It's really dusty, you don't wanna get it in your lungs. Alright, so I made the little corners pieces with the carbon fiber and I fused it together. I used this 2-part epoxy. So yeah, everything is fused together now. I have the top connected with the middle and then this bottom as well. And I have filled all these cracks up. And I did the same to this side. So now, while that sits, before I start sanding, now I'm going to start to work on this area right here. I'm going to make a new piece. So I'm going to be using this template and then that piece of styrofoam. And I'm going to make a canard. I'm going to make one that connects these two pieces together to blend it in. And I kind of want to use the same shape as the lower lip. So I'm going to mimic this style. And then I'm going to kind of place it right there. And try to make it work. Try to blend it in. Alright, so I flipped the bumper around so I could start to get a better idea on what it's looking like and the overall feel of this. I want a more aggressive look right here. I want this to slope down, and I kind of want to get this to curve up a little bit. I do like how it's coming out so far, but now I'm gonna try to mimic the outside of this body line right here and have it almost look exactly the same. Okay, so this is what I have so far. And right now I'm just fine tuning the radius so I can mold onto the bumper really good. So it sits like this. And there is a slight gap right here. So of course if I squeeze it, it fits perfect, but I'm not gonna be able to squeeze it once I 3D print this. So right now I'm gonna do all the fine tuning and just try to make it fit just right. Okay, so I had the 3D scanner out and it is not doing a good job. You can see I have all these little tracking dots so it could track everything as I'm scanning it. I tried using this little rotating table so I could rotate it and scan it at the same time, but that wasn't working. So I'm just having it sit still and I'm trying to scan it and I'm having a hard time. Majority of the item is there, of the object that I'm trying to scan is there, but I cannot get underneath, I cannot get behind. I've tried all sorts of things. So yeah, I might have to just run with whatever I have and then finish it up and clean it up. Okay, so somehow I was able to figure it out and it looks amazing actually. It looks exactly the same. So now I'm gonna finish all of this rendering. I'm gonna finish all of this process and start to 3D print it. Okay, so I'm starting to print and in 5 hours I'll be very happy or very disappointed. We'll see. Okay, so it's the next day and here we have it. Let's pull it off of here. That sounded good. Let's go check it out. All right, so yeah, that was really easy. That came out really nice, actually. I usually struggle to take off all of the support. So here it is. It's made out of ABS. I rendered it a little bit better. I was able to eliminate some of the bumps. Okay, it's not perfect still. And I did a 50% infill and I did the outside layer. I did 6 layers. So when I start to sand this down, I shouldn't go through the material that easily. I probably still will go through the material, but everything gets fiberglass and it gets redone and resealed. It fits just like the one out of styrofoam. It fits perfect. So now it's time to sand and fiberglass and finish this up. Okay, so the whole reason for scuffing all of this up is because if I was to put fiberglass on this smooth surface, it would just peel off. So I'm creating a rough surface here so the fiberglass could stick to it. All right, so we're back in the garage and everything has been fused together now. Let's check out the back, what it looks like. So right now we have one layer of fiberglass and everything is nice and firm. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this back on the vehicle and I'm gonna shape the nose, and I still have to create this whole part right here. So it does not have a lip. I'm gonna create that and I'm gonna shape the nose and make sure it's nice and even. So the next time you guys see this bumper, more than likely it's gonna be on the car and the car is gonna be getting sanded down because it's gonna be time for paint. So remember, I'm gonna be painting the vehicle and there's a lot of little things that I have to repair, and I still have to kind of sand this down and repair it, make everything blend in. But look at it, look how well it looks. Everything's bonded together, nothing's going to crack. It's nice and reinforced, so it's looking pretty cool. So we're gonna close this video here because I could make this drag on forever and you guys will hate me that the video is so long. So let's close it here. We're gonna finish it up and we'll see you in the next video.